Okay, so in this video we're just going to have a look at how to hand bind our edges. So we've got our panel which we hand stitched our binding onto, and then I've also got the panel here for those of you who did the machine binding followed. So I'm going to show you how the hand stitching of the panel itself is the same, but just wanted to kind of just on this one just show you how you fold that over, which is just slightly different on the two corners. So I will demonstrate the hand stitching on this piece here, okay, but it's exactly the same for this piece, and then when it's slightly different I will cut in with that one there. Okay, so let us start binding this one. So zoom in. Okay, so what have we got here? We have our edge, our folded edge. So again on this one here, if I turn this over, okay, we've got our folded edge of our machine stitched. Now what I just tend to do is I just go along and just finger press my binding so that it's creased the other way, and then that folds over, and you want to catch it so it's just over the machine stitched line. So if you ended up going too far over, you'll probably be able to see that stitch line. So hopefully you've been close enough, and then that's where you would stitch it, so you won't be able to see any of the machine stitch on there. Okay, so we do very similar process, except because this was hand stitched, we can't see, we have no stitching on the back here. Okay, but we have got this fold here. We want to roll that over, okay, and then we just stitch it the same way as we did the front. But if you were a machine piece binder, then what we just do, I've just attached my knotted hand sewing thread into the, I just put it into the binding there, okay. If you are on here, okay, on this one, I just catch it, say about there, and just go through, not to the other side, just trying to catch the middle, and I come through on my end like so. Okay, so they're both now at basically the same position. So I'm probably about an inch or two. Normally I would start in the middle, further up, but for the demonstration I just want to get to that corner so I can show you what I would do there. So I'm just go through the back of the quilt, through the wadding, and then but not onto the front, and then just picking up a couple of threads in my binding, and I'm doing it about every 3 or 4 mil. Okay, so just go back into there, and as you can see there, the stitching is very, very subtle. I don't think you can even see it. So I'm just going to go along towards the corner. Okay, now I'm going to go a little bit closer to the edge here, and then I can always come back. So I'm probably about 5 mil from the end there. I'm just going to do a double stitch just to hold it in place. You would do this slightly differently with the machine pieced one, which I'll show in a second in the video. So I've turned my quilt around. Now what I want to do is, so I've got the mitered corner on this side, looking quite smart, okay. I just want to press that, finger press, I've just pulled it down, and then I'm just going to fold that into there, okay. And I just want to manipulate it, ideally so that the 2 points are actually meeting together, where it's going to create that 90-degree angle. Sometimes though you might find that it's a bit bulky and it comes up further over or further over that way. Usually with a bit of manipulation you can do it so that, no, I can't do it, there we go. So that the corners meet really nicely, just like that. So what am I going to do? I'm going to just pick up my needle and thread. I'm actually going to put a little clip on there to hold it. Okay, so just in this corner here, I've just got my thread on my needle. I'm just going to catch into the backing and up through that corner there. You don't need to take too much of it, and I always just do a double stitch there. Okay, I then go back under where that intersection is, and I'm just going to come about, I've just come up actually right by the corner of the clip there. I'm going to put a little double stitch in there. It just keeps these slightly flatter and less likely to get caught and pulled open. So I'm just do a double stitch there. I don't tend to put knots in, but if I feel like it needs a bit more control there, I can just put a little knot in. And then I go back down into the wadding, do my wiggle through and come out, back out at that corner there. And then I carry on doing my stitches. So I usually do one pretty close to that corner and then just carry on with my usual, whatever distance you're doing in your stitches. The pencil marks I put onto my finger earlier on to make the measurements the same as each other have worn off. But if you like that, you can always reapply that. And I'm just going to finish sewing all the way around. When I get to the end, I can just do one of, just like I'm about to do now, because I'm about to run out of thread. So that I haven't got any big knots on here. I'm just going to do my wrapping that I normally would do to hide my knots inside, catch it down in there, come along, making sure you haven't caught the front, pull that knot through, and it actually just broke off anyway, so and then you can cut that. Okay, and you just do that all the way around. Now I'm just going to re-thread up my needle and show you how you would do the corners on the machine attached piece, which is really straightforward. I think it's usually slightly easier than the hand stitched binding, in that it tends to find its way into that corner automatically. Now if, like me, in some places you've got some machine stitched little tails there, just go round, tidy it up, being careful not to cut it right at the knot, even though I think I might have just done that there by accident. And then this corner here, just tidy that up. Okay. So let's do a corner, shall we? So I'm just going to pick this corner here. So we will have done exactly the same as we did on our hand stitched piece. I'm just going to pull that over there. I can use my clips if I want to. Okay, if you don't have any clips, you can always use little bulldog clips. These are just general quilt binding clips specifically. I think they're becoming quite popular in fashion piecing as well now. So I'm just going to join in quite close to the edge there, so you're not seeing me re-stitch all of that all over again. Okay, so again, I would have started about halfway up the edge. And then what I'm just going to do is just catch this, whoop, catch it, actually catch it, not say I'm doing it and then not actually do it. I'm just going to stitch along roughly, if a bit over is better, over past the point where this is going to fold over onto here. So I'm just coming along here, catching that. I'm going to do a double stitch just to make sure that's catching it and holding it down. Okay, and then when I turn, I'm going to turn this round. Okay, and this is where it's slightly different to that. It actually usually folds pretty well into place, and you just need to adjust it accordingly. So I think, 'cause this is quite a bulky corner, it's not too bad. I've got quite a nice little mitre going on there. I could possibly try to get that to go across a wee bit more there and then fold it over. Oh, bang on. So it just takes a little bit of adjustment, fiddling around. I'll just put that there, okay, and then right, you can see it's pulling that way, so I just want to catch onto here to get that down there. I need to make sure I've covered my stitching, so I'm going to actually take that off because I think it's not holding it in place enough. There we go. So now I'm covering up any needle, any marks that were made, stitches made from a sewing machine. There we go. So let's pull that down, turn that round, do my double stitch to hold that in place there. And then I'm just going to catch up here, put in a stitch there. I could put in a few further up, particularly sometimes I quite like to do a wider binding, but this is the size binding that I provide in the kits. So if you're working with this, then just one or two will be fine. I'm just going to do one for now. And then I'm going to scoop back down to that point there. The needle's coming out right at that corner. You can see that. And this is the point where it's useful to now just press that, pull that out and round. Put my clips on. So then I've got a little bit more of a looser grip on it, so if your fingers are starting to feel a bit taut, then you can loosen them off a bit. And I'm just going through, not to the other side, just through the wadding, and that's it. That's how we hand finish the backs of our panels. And I'll show you the corners, what they'll look like once they're all done. Just go that far for now. Put the needle down there. So on here, you can see we've got that nice little mitre going on there. Okay, and that's how, so you've got this neat edge here, and you've got this neat finish here. Okay, and then on the other one, just take the clip off there. So got a few marks there from where the clip was just holding it temporarily. So we've got our mitre there, okay, and our finished mitre on the back with just nice neat border there. Okay.